Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Do you know why the real reason why they banned lead paint?
The real
The
reason?
real reason why they banned lead paint.
So it wasn't because it was full up.
This is actually like very interesting. It's kind of scary as well. So they tell you that they banned lead paint because kids kept eating paint chips and they were getting poisoned. Now, while they may have been true, turns out lead is the best absorber of EMF radiation and gamma radiation as well. What that means is that if this was all coated in lead paint, it will be harder for cell tower signals, anything that shoots a signal, to actually penetrate your body the way they wanted it to. It was still hit in. It was still like, the signal will still come in, but the radiation off of those signals won't be as deadly as they are without it. So that's why when you get an x-ray, you wear a lead vest to protect your body.
I forgot about that actually, and you're right. Yeah, they do put lead over your body, especially for x-rays.
Anything that shoots a signal, that's what the radiation is, but mostly from your phones and Wi-Fi. And that takes one out of the book, Silent Weapons for Silent Wars. Their silent weapons work better without lead paint.
That is exactly what I said yesterday. Interesting, isn't it? And it was really cool because that was at the very top of my feed this morning. Just saying. Just saying.
Breaking news, breaking news. You see this? Just read. Like, what? Listen to this.
World leaders gathering in Davos, Switzerland this week are going to discuss disease X, a hypothetical virus 20 times deadlier than COVID-19. Addressing a global pandemic is also something that a next U.S. president might face. But what exactly is a disease X? According to the World Health Organization, disease X represents the knowledge that a serious international epidemic could be caused by an unknown pathogen.
I saw other videos that were talking about this disease X, saying that they're saying it will be in 2024. There will be a disease that we don't know of yet that will happen. And they were saying that they think it's the bird flu going to the cows and going to people. So I did a little more digging and I found this.
Some pretty incredible breaking news coming out that in the past week, we are hearing that WHO, the World Health Organization, is now saying that there needs to be a global unification or a pandemic treaty that can help the entire world brace for the next disease X. That we need to have unification around the globe so that way we can prepare ourselves for what is going to be coming. And they're saying that this is the generation that needs to do this. They said after experiencing the pandemic that just took place, that this should be fresh in the minds of everyone on Earth, that we should be able to unify and agree to come together to make sure that we do not have this wreak havoc on the people, the population of our planet yet again. Now, as I mentioned, this coming out from the WHO director that is calling for this pandemic treaty of peace to take place, and they're saying it needs to happen now. And they actually have a date that they'd like to see this implemented. And it is, they'd like to have a meeting on this and come to a global agreement by May of 2024. So in just a couple months from now. Now, this is coming out on headlines, as I mentioned.
So this disease X was just hypothetical for the WHO, the World Health Organization, to have this meeting to want to create a treaty, a universal treaty, not universal, but just global treaty. So everybody on the planet, we would all come together in the event of another pandemic like happened with COVID-19. So they wanted to have that happen in May, but unfortunately, we're almost all the way through May, and that didn't happen. It actually failed. They failed to come together and create some kind of agreement because there is a huge divide in healthcare amongst all of the countries. Everywhere does things differently. So I guess they're going to keep trying. I don't know how they expect to have everybody come together and what the needs are for that. I guess it has something to do with like supplies. Remember how we had a huge supply issue? I don't know, or just get everybody together and say this is how each place needs to be prepared in case this happens again. I'm not sure exactly what they expected to come of that. Hey, thanks so much for stopping by. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please let me know down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get it in an upcoming video. If you're having a good time, please hit that like button and consider subscribing and then come back tomorrow because I'm making a new video every day.
Did you know that on August 15th, 1977, astronomers in Ohio captured a mysterious radio signal from deep space that was so strong and unique it almost left researchers speechless? The signal, named WOW, was an intensely strong burst of radio waves that lasted about 72 seconds, which is unusually long for normal radio waves coming from space. What made this signal even more intriguing is that unlike most radio signals, this signal was detected at a frequency of 1420 megahertz, meaning it was a narrowband frequency, and such signals are not natural, but almost a form of communication. However, after studying more about this signal, scientists figured out it came from the constellation of Sagittarius, specifically the region near the star group M55. But before the scientists could confirm any of this, the signal disappeared suddenly and was never detected again. It could be possible that the signal was interrupted, or the civilization was destroyed by another civilization. We may never know about this signal ever again, and can only wonder if we are truly alone in this universe. If you find this video interesting, comment down your thoughts and follow for more.
That is incredible. And that's the spectacular theory that they think, maybe it was like a Hail Mary transmission or something like that before that civilization is no longer. I don't know. I know that 2 years ago there was some studies done to try to actually see if it's still a broadcasting signal, and they weren't able to find anything. But there's other life out there. There's gotta be.
We need to eat less meat. We need to stop land being used for cattle and growing grain for the billions of animals that we keep in our intensive farms. And then finally, we cannot hide away from human population growth, because it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
So the World Economic Federation thinks that we need to eat less meat and have less children. I think that you can go ahead and eat as much meat as you want and have as many children as you can raise responsibly. Let me see. I found some information that the European Commission's Joint Research Center, they did a study and found that about 10% of Earth's land surface is inhabited by humans, and 95% of the world's population is concentrated in that area. So 95% of our beings are inhabiting 10% of the world. Now, I understand that a lot of land on our planet is uninhabitable, or it's just, not pleasant, but still habitable. And there's a lot of people that are condensed in a lot of areas, like in LA and New York and these major metropolitan areas. So if there was like some spreading out, there's still plenty of land available for people to grow crops and grow animals for food. I think we're all going to be okay.
What they're doing. Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will, and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. We have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale. Yeah, everything is being digitalized. Everything is being monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance.
What he just said is called problem, reaction, solution. Listen to the end one more time.
Monitored. In this time of crisis, you have to follow science. It's often said that you should never allow a good crisis to go to waste, because a crisis is an opportunity to also do good reforms that in normal times people will never agree to. But in a crisis, you see, we have no chance.
So what's happening is they take this crisis and they amplify it to make people react to what they want to do. And that's how they get the public support of new laws, new regulations, by making this crisis that is happening, that was happening, this was during like COVID times, or any other time there's any kind of crisis, they amplify it in order to get public support. That's why I think there's so many, this is totally off topic. Let's go on a tangent real quick. Why every once in a while they say something super bad about Putin to get the people to be more appreciative of money that's going over to Ukraine, right? Oh, Putin is so bad. He's doing this right now. Be angry with him. Support us giving more of our money to Ukraine. It's kind of interesting, but that is what happens. Also about the hackable, human being, how we're hackable and there's technology that hacks us. We know that. 5G towers, your computer monitors. We've been talking about this for the whole time and a lot recently, right?
This is f***ing weird, man. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, officially announced that he will be stepping down by 2025. And here's why that's really, really sketchy. Because this man right here, aka Klaus Schwab himself, said that he will also be stepping down by 2025. As you can see, before I go any further, the Bank of America analysts forecast that Dimon will step down in late 2025 or 2026. More specifically, 2025. Now, as you can see, like it says here, like I stated, Klaus Schwab will be stepping down by 2025. This is literally on the WEF website, people. Recession and automation changes our future of work, but there are jobs coming. The robot revolution will create 97 million new jobs, but communities most at risk from disruption will need support from businesses and governments. And in 2025, analytical thinking, creativity, and flexibility are among the top skills needed, with data and artificial intelligence, content creation, and cloud computing the top emerging professions. So are they confessing that AI is going to be taking over by 2025? Because, God, this was from the WEF themselves. AI will replace some 85 million jobs by 2025. And by 2030, the number of jobs lost to automation in the U.S. will supposedly reach 73 million. That's Forbes. And also by 2030, supposedly AI will be responsible for North America's 14% boost in GDP. That's PwC. Is this not sketchy to anybody else? Because for those two individuals, as big as their names are, to step down, coincidentally by the same time that they're saying this is going to take place, is huge.
That's a peculiar connection. Now, what I'm getting from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, please, what I'm getting from that is that they have some AI set up already to take their place in 2025, or that they plan to have some AI set up to take their place in 2025. That's just what I'm gathering from that. I could very well be wrong, and that's quite all right. Let me know.
You cannot convince me that this isn't weird. This is the Mandelbrot set. That is a real plant. That's a leaf. The Mandelbrot set is an infinite recurring pattern. We call it a fractal. Now, when you make that fractal 3D, it looks like this. What does that look like? That's a fractal cactus, a fractus. Barnsley fern, math, looks like the real-life lady fern. Begonia rex, this is from India. It is a perfect reflection of the Fibonacci sequence. Just like this elephant's trunk, this iguana's tail, these seashells, and all the other organisms that reflect that fractal. These patterns are inside you. When an embryo gets fertilized, that's what happens. Then you start to grow these fractal organs and you feel them in your fractal nervous system, all controlled by your fractal brain reflecting the architecture of the universe, while your outsides reflect the fractal patterns of a tree. When energy discharges into matter, we see fractals at all scales. Your veins and neurons navigate your body like rivers navigate land. Then we use those neurons to build roads that look like rivers. We mimic this in architecture and art because that is what we are. That is a 3D Mandelbrot set. That is reality. That is crown shyness. That's the Sierpinski fractal. If you just let the fractal go, it'll randomly generate shapes sometimes that took humans decades to create. Let's remove the matter from the equation. What do you get? The patterns of energy. Water on a speaker. Math equations used to synthesize or combine sound waves into one sound. At its simplest level, you can draw fractal patterns just using circles. It's how you evolve. It's how your cells divide. It's beautiful. It's elegant. It's how you evolve. Understanding it will give you an entirely new perspective on the world. Energy moves in a pattern. Light bends around those patterns to create shapes. The shapes connect in 3D and we experience them in 4D. Fractals navigate the chaos and you experience it. This video is just a couple pages out of the fractal section in Geometrics. This book is really special to me because this information is what changed my life and allowed me to understand the world so much better. It is the sequel to my first book, Codex, and it is a fusion of science, spiritual traditions, and ancient history. You will be Fibonacci'd.
So every day I learn more and more about this sacred geometry and how ever present it is in our everyday life, and the vibrations that create it, or how it is within the vibrations, and how those have healing properties. And it's incredible. The more I learn about it, the more I want to learn more about it. And I just thought that this one was a beautiful representation of how these fractals are apparent, are obvious, are present in our everyday lives. And it was absolutely gorgeous and very well put together. On that note, I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Come on back tomorrow. We'll watch new stuff. I'll say different things and it'll be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day.